Hello, Space Cadets. I am Sergeant Space Panda, and welcome back to Buried. Let's get in. It's a small building, sort of like a mixture of a shack and a bunker. It looks to be made of concrete, but moss, weed, and plain old erosion also make it look sort of mystical. It looks like something out of a demented version of a medieval fantasy movie. What the hell is this? Dennis asks. I have no idea, or some old power station. Well, it could be a power station. Oh, sorry, I was going to remove my mouse. Let's do that now. If I can. I don't think I can. I'm sorry, guys. Let's just continue. Dennis shakes his head. Why would one be way out here? He's right. I can't come up with a legitimate reason for something like this being here. Do you think the others maybe went in here? He asks nervously. Why would they do that? I ask. I don't know, but they aren't out here. If they aren't inside, they're probably dead. Like Tony. He looks at the ground as he says this. I want to go inside, not just to find my crew, but also to appease my curiosity. That ringing noise is coming from inside. But something about this place seems incredibly strange, especially located all by itself out here. It simply does not belong. I wonder, do we knock or just go in? Dennis asks. I can tell that he is trying to make a joke, but it falls flat. I'm starting to think his humor is a defense mechanism for his fear. We both look ahead, taking a moment to realize that what we are about to do, and start forward. We go no more than 3 feet closer when Dennis wobbles. You okay, or reach out and steady him? Let's reach out. Let's steady him. I reach out quickly, straining my injured knee. I barely make it in time, grabbing him under his arms, keeping him from hitting the ground. I'm okay, he says. Just, can you help me walk for a little while? Just help me inside, please. I can't deny him his request. I've never seen him this week, and it's a little uncomfortable to see. Makes me glad I decided to keep him with me. I help Dennis into the weird little building. The front door opens easily, even though there's clearly a lock on it. Maybe the lock was supposed to keep something in. It's hard to tell. I still hear that ringing noise. It's definitely coming from in here. Stretching out in front of me is a small interior to match the outside. The building is totally empty. There's a concrete floor and dingy, featureless walls. There are no windows, giving the place an even more isolated feel. Still, we hear the ringing noise coming from somewhere in here. It's louder now, more prominent. The interior seems confined at first, but a small set of concrete steps lead about 5 feet down, revealing a corridor. So I hope you guys are liking this playthrough. I like this game. It's kind of creepypasta-y. It's got a really good horror feel that makes me happy. It's a massive corridor. In fact, like I'm in some kind of building underground. It seems to go on forever. This corridor is mostly dark, with emergency lights every 10 feet or so. I assume we're now underground because this corridor extends far beyond the walls of the building we entered. I realize that someone might not appreciate finding us here. Okay, so do we tiptoe quietly or walk quickly? I feel like we should tiptoe quietly. I feel like we should be stealthy about this, just in case somebody, maybe zombies, comes and tries to eat us. I feel like a ghost, like I truly have no business being here. Dennis leans on me for support. We move slowly, our feet not making a sound. If anyone is in here, I want to make sure they don't hear us. We tiptoe forward as softly as we can. As I carry Dennis to the far end of this otherwise featureless place, I see a flight of concrete stairs leading down. I have to set Dennis down on the floor. His weight is killing me. Dennis, are you okay? Stop worrying, man. He says, I'll be okay. I just need a minute to rest. But looking at him, I'm not so sure. I can still hear the ringing noise every so often, coming from somewhere in here. I look ahead at the concrete stairs, pointing towards them so that Dennis sees them. Can you make it down those stairs? I ask. He stands up slowly and is visibly making an effort to not fall back down. Yeah, he says, and sounds a little irritated. He starts for the stairs without me, and I have no choice but to follow. We approach the stairs, and just by looking at them, I get the sense we're crossing some sort of line here. There may very well be no going back. Dun dun dun! There's some nice stairs. And there's blood on the wall. That's hot. As I head down the stairs, I notice that they look aged. The damned ringing noise is somewhere below, louder than ever. I feel like I'm walking down into the cellar of a haunted house, the light becoming scarce as the stairway takes a slight turn. I could feel the temperature drop. Dennis makes it a few steps down before he's leaning on the wall. He's breathing like he just finished a marathon. Well, you're in a creepy basement in a creepy building in the middle of the woods. You're probably going to walk into like a serial killer den. There's going to be some girl strapped to a table screaming, or you're going to walk in and some guy's just going to be like shucking her skin off. Let's give Dennis a break though. He needs a minute to just breathe. Let's take a break, I say, putting my hand towards his shoulder to help steady him. Dennis lets out a sigh. Thanks. I don't feel too great, boss. As we both squat down on a stair, my mind seems to lock in on the unknown fate of the rest of my crew. Frank is married and I've met his wife a few times, a nice woman with a huge laugh. My heart sags a bit when I realize I might never get to hear him belting out classic rock tunes during lunch break. Joe. Well, I don't know too much about him. He's 22 years old and is considering community college. His folks are deadbeats, so he's been providing for himself since the age of 16 or so. Maybe I can still find them and still get to hear Frank singing in his deep baritone voice after a few too many drinks. So he drinks on the job? That is not a good thing to promote for your business, dude. After a few minutes, Dennis says, "All right, let's keep going." We both stand up, leaning on each other. I have to make Dennis stay behind me as I stick my foot out and search for the next step. I can't help feeling like a child, as a very powerful fear seizes me. I'm expecting a monster to reach out of the darkness, slicing into my throat. After what feels like forever, we come to the bottom of the stairs. We're closer to that ringing noise now. A door sits securely in the wall and looks just as out of place down here as I feel. A sliver of light seeps through, illuminating the area. The door is what looks like a panel with lots of labels and lights. Small, embossed print above the panel says, "Level 1 entrance gate, transport sector." And there's a button with no label. Do we push the button or do we inspect the panel? Well, the button could detonate the whole building, so let's inspect the panel. We don't want to be stupid here. The panel looks like a diagnostic or alert system of some kind, each labeled to mean some communication status. Lockdown engaged, experiment in progress, shutdown engaged. Those all appear to be off. One of the phrases has a slowly blinking red light next to it. The only powered light on this whole thing. Abnormal entity breach. What the hell? I slowly push the door open when Dennis suddenly steps in front of me, taking the lead. "Let's go," he says. "I want to find out what the hell this place is." As Dennis walks through, that ringing or beeping or whatever it is gets a little louder. The door closes behind us with a click. I can't help but notice the wobble in Dennis's steps as he lets out a grunt. "You sure you're healthy enough to keep going?" I ask. "It doesn't matter. I don't want to be in the woods right now." He seems scared, something I've never seen before. Angry? Yes. Upset? Yes. But Dennis is never scared. "What did you see, or what's so dangerous?" Let's ask him what he saw. "I don't know what it was, boss. It was like someone had left a radio on, crackling. But we don't have any radios at the site. I don't know, it was like something in the forest was moving." I gave him a doubtful look, and he cast his eyes to the ground, frustrated. "I know how it sounds," he said, "but I know what I felt. I'm sorry I'm a mushmouth tonight, guys." It was like walking into a funeral parlor, feeling death and gloom everywhere. I've been so preoccupied with my own fear that I nearly forgot about the ringing noise. It had just become background noise. We take a few more steps and I can see now where we are. It makes no sense. Yet another thing that simply seems out of place. The shapes and muted colors of metal are easy to identify, but it just doesn't belong here. Okay, I'm sorry I'm such a mushmouth, guys. I don't know what my deal is tonight. That's the end of chapter 1. So I'm going to leave this video here so we can start chapter 2 in the next video. I know this is a super short video, and I apologize, but I didn't realize the chapter was going to end so short after the last video, or I wouldn't have stopped it. I would have just kept going. So I know this is a really short video, but if you like it, leave a like. Thanks, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Thanks so much for watching, guys. This is Sergeant Space.